All right, what's up, world? For those of you just joining, so in this stream, we're going to be talking about manifesting limitless abundance because this is a really big need in people's lives, right? And one of the most important aspects of us being here on this physical earth is having grounding, having a foundation, having wealth because we need money to live. We need money to navigate through life and to make it easy. And a lot of people don't really, a lot of people get into their spiritual growth, and then they start developing negative relationships with themselves when it comes to money, when it comes to even their own subconscious belief structures of how to deal with money. We get the idea of the altruistic, saint that, refuses money because it's part of the system and that whole aspect when it comes to, their spiritual path, when that's one of the most insane things you could possibly think. Because when we look at ourselves, our divine selves and our path, and, when we look at reality as a whole and look at every other being, in this physical realm, all the animals, all the other beings, everything that they need for them to, flourish is given to them. Like, it's there. Like, they might have to hunt for it or whatever, but it's there, and there's no shortage of it. The same thing applies to us. And a lot of people think that, we're outside of nature, that because we are, human, that those same laws and rules don't apply to us. One of the things that stops us from manifesting and taking ownership over our divine abundance is our subconscious belief structures. We think that we have to work really hard. We think we have to, work a 9 to 5. We think that, negative self-image and then our relationship with money and our doubt, our fear, and all these different things that we cling on to that pushes our connection to our own divine abundance, the part of us that inherently, has everything that we need. Now remember, astrally, the astral is a belief-based thing. When things manifest, they manifest from the top down. Mentally, astrally, physically. Everything that ever was manifested in this way. From the mental to the astral to the physical. The astral aspect, once again, your belief structures. If you don't believe you can, live an abundant life, then subconsciously you're going to stop yourself. Every thought, every action, every feeling that you engage in is going to be, those of lack. Right? If you think that, oh, you're supposed to be poor, or oh, you can never, make this amount of money, or whatever subconscious belief structures you have in relation to your abundance, once again, nothing in you is going to tell you anything different. Whatever we believe, that's what we get. That's what our reality becomes. But it could be anything. It could be literally anything. We talked about this earlier in the live stream that I did, that you set the rules for your reality. There's many different ways to live life. There's many different relationships that you're developing. The relationship to money, very important. Your relationship to yourself, very important. Your relationship to your environment, to, all these different things. This is what gives you your reality. And you can change these relationships, especially when it comes to your abundance. So you have very happy eyes. Thank you. So one of the things, when it comes directly to money, right, your subconscious belief structure, do you ever look at somebody with money and then question, how they got it, or their ethics, or look at them with disgust or any type of like negativity? If you do that with anybody, I mean that with anybody, with Elon Musk, with Jeff Bezos, with anybody who has abundance, and there's a part of you that's like, oh, I don't like them, and you don't know them personally. There's no real reason. This person has a bunch of money, I don't like them. Then it's a part of you that's telling yourself that it's not okay for you to accumulate that much money, to have that level of abundance, to have that level of wealth, right? So looking at that, and alchemizing that, releasing those attachments, releasing those belief structures, releasing those subconscious things that will stop you from achieving that. And I mean this, you can look at, people personally. You might have somebody in your family that is well off and you might have a bad relationship with them, but because you have that negative relationship with them and you associate them with finances or money or whatever, it's a part of you that will put a shadow when it comes to making money, and it will literally stop you. Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your relationships, your karma, your experiences will literally stop you, because you're holding on to that negativity in relation to somebody who has abundance. So what allows you to get there? It says, I found you again, been over here. Oh, well, welcome. So this should speak to everybody, right? Because right now, once again, we're in this time where it's the full moon in Leo, right? The month is Cancer, and then new moon in Leo, and it is the only new moon this year that is ruled by the sun. So we have this light of creation coming in. This ability to manifest miracles, to manifest literal, abundance and happiness and wealth and well-being, and even some of our past life light. And this is available to everybody. Not just the mystics, not just the people who, practice hermetics and the people that are on the esoteric side. This is available to everybody to take advantage of. But you have to create that space. You have to be a vibrational match for those miracles to happen in your life. If you are seeking your divine abundance, if you're, you are seeking your divine abundance, if you're, in a place of lack, if you keep having negative things happen to you, there is a reason for it. And it's nothing outside of you. I'm telling you this right now, and this is for everybody. There's nothing outside of you. Everything that you experience, all of your relationships, the people you draw around you, the circumstances, right? Your finances, everything, all of it is 100% you. And the moment you can take that on, the moment you can take that idea and begin to understand it, the more you can take advantage of it, and the more you can allow yourself to equalize those parts of you, right? Hey Natasha, to understand those parts of you, to release those parts of you, so you have space within your mind, within your emotions, your actions, your relationships, and your reality for that divine abundance to be there, Right now, don't be surprised if you get in arguments with people, right? If some of your negative shadow stuff comes up, because that's one of the blessings. That's part of the blessing. In order for you to take advantage of this time where we're in right now, where we're tapping into this really high level of density of light and non-duality and miracles and abundance, these things may come up in your experience, so you can release it and let it go. But you have to be open to releasing it and letting it go. When it comes to this, right? Once again, everybody can take advantage of this. This right now till the new moon on August 4th, the perfect time for you to set your intentions, for you to alchemize, to make space in your mind, right? In your astral body, in your world, for miracles to happen. But you have to believe that it is coming. You have to align yourself to it. You can't, be closed off to the world. You can't be in this state of, I'm only doing this for me and self-serving. You have to open up your field. You have to create this vessel. You have to expand your consciousness. You have to be willing to invest in yourself. You have to do all these things that make room for miracles to happen. Remember, there's nothing outside of you. The way you treat yourself, the way you view yourself, the way you love yourself, the way that you, understand and know yourself is going to dictate the ease in which you can navigate through life. All the people in your life, all your relationships, if you find yourself around a bunch of narcissists, there's a part of you that's a narcissist too. That's how you resonate with them. That's why you keep bringing them into your life. You wonder, everybody I talk to is this narcissistic person. Well, take a look in the mirror. It's a reason. There's nothing outside of you. Those people aren't attracted into your field of consciousness for no reason. But the moment you decide to invest in yourself, invest in your consciousness, invest in your spirit, right? Then you're going to begin to resonate with other people who are investing in themselves and in their spirit. People who are also whole, people who are also healed, people who also believe in miracles, people who create this network of divine light that allows you to have higher level experiences. But you have to release those lower levels of light, those lower tendencies and habits and things like that in order for those miracles to have a place to manifest, right? And once again, I don't think y'all hear me. There is nothing outside of you. The only way that you get there is looking at the self, developing the self. And it's really, really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful when you begin to understand it, when you begin to develop a much deeper relationship with infinite intelligence, God, your higher self, your guardian angel, your highest light body, whatever you would like to call it. But when you start developing that relationship and begin to raise up into higher levels of consciousness, your life becomes easier. But you have to take the step to invest in yourself. I'm telling you this, the most amazing thing you can ever do is to take care of you. Mentally, astrally, physically. Invest in yourself. Invest in your consciousness, your spirit. Why wouldn't you? Why would you invest time and energy into all these other things, into other people, other places, into all these other things, and not invest it into yourself? I want somebody to please answer this question for me. All the time, energy, and effort that you put into other people, other places, other things, into video games, into movies, into learning your favorite sports teams, into all these things and learning songs and everything else, why would you not take time to invest in your own spirit, your own consciousness, your own experience, into your own avatar, your own character, right? All right, what up, Dr. Earl? so everyone is experiencing folks wild and left and right. Yeah, to an extent, but yeah, for most people. And once again, if you're experiencing that, then it's something within your field that's causing these situations, and it's being able to look at herself. Okay, what part of me resonates with this? Why am I drawing this into my experience? What is attached to me? What do I not see? What action, what boundaries do I need to put up, right? What belief structures do I need to change? Because these are the realms that you're dwelling in, and this is why people are drawn into your experience, because you may be sticking to some level of consciousness that's allowing those things to happen. And see, so this is what we're working with. Says I'm learning to do this more and more. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful. Everything changed for me when I literally just that when I started to make huge shifts in consciousness. Hey, Jake, and look at myself and say, okay, well, how can I master myself? Right? How can I reassure myself that my thoughts, my feelings, my actions, right, are going to always be for my benefit? Because why would you put anybody else's, stuff before your own? The best thing that you could ever do is be the best you. The best thing you can do for your family, be the best you can be. Best thing you can do for your partner, be the best you can be. Not to cater to them and to bow down for them and to do the things that you think they want or whatever. The best thing you can do is become a better version of you, despite anything else, and be okay with letting people down, because this is part of what blocks people from their divine abundance, from their, fulfillment, from their happiness, is their need to please other people, right? And you never know what will please the next person. But people live their life with this idea, this movie, this, fabrication that they have designed in their own mind. It's not real. And then they put other people's, fantasy beliefs that they believe is there above their own. There's people that stay in marriages, right? And the kids are unhappy, but they're doing it for the kids. And if the kids knew that they were, unhappy 50% of their day, and they're doing it because of them, they're going to look at you like, don't blame me. They're going to feel grief. They're going to be like, why are you doing this for me? If you're unhappy, do your thing. And everybody, suffers because of it. It's your duty to let everybody else down as long as you do not let yourself down, and do the fulfilling things. And you have to have space for that. You have to invest in yourself. Even in that particular example, your kids will be much happier with you being happy 100% of the time if you only see them an hour a week, instead of them seeing you 40 hours a week and you're depressed and then, pulling everybody down. It's really important to see that and understand that. So be sure that you're investing in yourself. Be sure that, once again, whatever idea you have in your mind that, oh, I'm doing this for somebody else, I'm suffering because of somebody else, I'm not going to achieve my dreams because of something else, or I'm going to let somebody down, or they're not going to have access to me, or I'm not going to be there to take care of them, that's insane. You only have, one life this time around. And you have a very limited time to be able to do the fulfilling things and to develop a deep relationship with your, infinite self. And why would you ever do that in a place in which you're not being fulfilled? Why would you be in an environment where you're not being fulfilled, in a relationship where you're not being fulfilled, and put those people's and places' needs above your own? It's everybody's duty to, once again, invest in yourself. Hey, Myra. Hey, Lisa. How you doing? Important to look at this and understand this. And these are some of the things that, once again, stop you from taking advantage of your divine abundance. Is all these different relationships that we have, right? And when we're looking at our relationships, and I mean like a relationship to everything, not just to people, a relationship to things, to finances, to ourself, to our own belief structures, to our self-image. These things matter. And you can control these relationships, and it's up to you to make sure that you understand these relationships and they're always working for your benefit. But it takes being real with yourself and taking a step back to assess your situation, to assess your relationships, especially when it comes to people. And this goes in both ways. When you're with somebody, there's positive, negative, and neutral, right? If somebody is taking your energy, right, they're going to drain you. They're going to drain you. The relationships you have, if you're with somebody and you feel drained, or there's a part of you like, oh, I don't really want to hang out with them, because subconsciously you can feel that this person is taking energy from you, and they may not be doing it on purpose, right? But they may not be healed in their water element. They need somebody to, they're trying to fill their cup with somebody else's water element. So you can feel that, right? Why would you stay in a relationship with somebody that's always give, and they're draining from you? And some people will say, well, I've been friends with this person for 15 years and I don't want to let them down. So you mean to tell me you're going to continue to let somebody rob you of your time and energy, and it's not a reciprocal thing that's going on, just for the fact that you know them? You don't want that relationship to change. You're going to continue to spend your time and energy with this person just for the simple fact that, we're friends. It doesn't mean you have to shun them or stay away from them, but assess the situation, assess the relationship, alchemize your relationship. And, if it's not this, equal exchange, right, then it's something that needs to be done about it. If they're not willing to, to look and say, oh, I can't believe, I didn't realize I was just take. And when you're around me, you're draining me or whatever. If that's not the case, then you don't need to be friends with them, because it's a part of you that, in that level of consciousness, that experiences lack. It's a part of you that says it's okay for me to lack. It's a part of me that says it's okay for me to be around people who are draining my energy and not saying anything about it. I do not have the boundaries within my mind, within my belief structures, within my actions to say, no, you're draining my energy. We need to do something about this. And stand up for yourself, help them, alchemize them. If they're really your friend, they should be pushing you to grow and evolve, and vice versa, not just take and drain. But if you are in a relationship like that, platonic and the actual, loving relationship, and then that person just takes and drains you, well, that's something that needs to be looked at. That's something that needs to be looked at. And if they were a real friend, once again, they would think twice, oh, maybe I am doing this. Or they're just sucking all your energy away. But have boundaries, because if you do not have boundaries, there's a part of your consciousness that says that you lack having the ability to have fulfilling relationships. I have to hold on to this person, right, and this relationship because I might let them down, but they're going to be pulling you down. And that sounds cold to some people. Kabbalistically, on the universal scale, you deserve that. This should be common sense to people. And I know it sounds cold, but so-and-so needs to learn emotional intelligence. And if you guys aren't telling your best friend, oh, you need to learn some emotional intelligence, and I'm here, I can help you through it, or I'm just going to keep letting you drain me so we both suffer, right? That's not okay. That's not okay. So holding space is important, but not if it's going to be like this huge negative thing and nobody benefits from it. So once again, when we are thinking about taking ownership of our divine abundance, right? This whole thing is literally manifesting limitless abundance. These types of mentalities, these types of relationships, these types of consciousness that we engage in, and these relationships that we have, they're either going to be thoughts and relationships of abundance or thoughts and relationship of lack, right? So once again, if you don't have the proper boundaries, then it's a part of you that says, once again, I'm okay with lacking something. I'm okay with lacking in proper relationships and receiving my value for who I am as this conscious being that's here to make a difference, to do whatever your thing is. Right? It's okay for me to, have my life force sucked away. So, don't engage in that, whatever it is, just don't engage in those types of thoughts. The best thing to do is surrender to the process, surrender to your idea of true abundance, and not even your idea of it, to universal miracles, abundance, and to release your resistance from it. Remember, when you want to gain or attain something, it's not something you really have to strive for per se, but it's something that you have to release to get there. Once again, every tuning fork in the entire universe is already a part of you. Within every one point in creation exists a whole, right? It's part of your own divinity, your Akashic nature. Every single aspect of creation is a part of who and what you are. Right? So it's up to you to pick and choose which part of this infinite reality you want to experience. And it has to be one of abundance. If you want to, live miracles, if you want to live an abundant life, and you have to fully surrender to it. You have to release your resistance to it to have access to it. And it's not as hard as it sounds. We come in this world with this. But our ego, our relationships, our past, our regrets, the things that we hold on to take up all that space in our mind. It takes up all the space that stops our true infinite light from shining and taking ownership of this divine abundance. So releasing negative thoughts about yourself. Once again, those thoughts of lack. If you don't believe you can have infinite, limitless abundance, then you're not going to have it. It's a part of you that's going to stop you. It's a part of you that's going to say, this is too good to be true, and I don't deserve this, and I don't see anybody else with it, but none of that's real. You just believe that. Because even if you seen somebody with it, you wouldn't know it because you've never matched that vibration. This is when we hold, once again, negativity towards people with it. It's a subconscious behavior when we look at somebody and say, oh, so-and-so has a nice car or whatever. I hate that they, that part of you. If you are looking at somebody with the type of jealousy, type of negativity, because they have something that you don't have and you're dwelling in those lower vibrations, it blocks your abundance. There's a part of you that literally says it's not okay to have that. So nothing in you is going to do the things to get that, even though you say you want it. The three bodies are not aligned. The mental, astral, physical, your mind, your spirit is not aligned with your belief structures, which is definitely not aligned with your actions. To get what you wish to manifest, law of manifestation is everything manifests mentally, astrally, physically. Your mental body, your astral body, your physical body have to be all in agreement and alignment with the same goals, same idea, and act accordingly. And it happens. It's how things manifest. And once again, your thoughts, I am receiving my divine abundance. I am leaving space within my mind, within my spirit for, infinite intelligence to make easy and abundant my way. All right. Astrally, I release any resistance to allowing this divine abundance to come into my experience, to come into my life, and you have to really believe that is happening. And this isn't like a type of blind faith, because faith is not blind. Faith, by definition, is the knowing of things that's unseen. I know this for a fact, not this blind, I hope this is going to happen. Faith is not hope. Faith is, I know that this is my path. This is my experience. And I have this limitless abundance coming. Your actions, you have to act accordingly. Even when it comes to adverse appearances. And this is where faith comes in. Because I've experienced miracles, over and over and over and over and over again. Not a little bit, not a little bit. I mean, like in the most insane, perfect, beautiful, magical ways ever, that right down to the right time, the right minute, right opportunity. And it may not be exactly when you want it to come, but it will always be on time. But your actions have to reflect that. What pushes people away from their divine abundance is we do things out of our lower emotions. So you might get scared. Oh, this isn't coming. So you go and do some dumb stuff, or you go and do something that shows that you do not have resonance with your infinite intelligence, or that you're not in alignment with your spirit. Astrally, you do not believe that this is happening. So you start to go in the opposite direction. Oh, I'm scared. So now let me go pawn this. Let me go sell this. Let me go get another credit card so I can, do this. And that may be your pathway to abundance, but if you are going into those lower things out of anxiety and fear, right, and worry, then obviously there's a part of you that doesn't believe that it's going to happen, and you stop yourself from realizing that and from experiencing that firsthand. Says, how do you let go of doubt, or start to? Subconscious programming. There's many ways to do this. You can hypnotize yourself. Affirmations work very well, very, very well. And just taking the steps, taking conscious effort in order for you to change your worldview, because you get what you believe in, whatever you believe. This is why everybody's caught up in their own realm. Everybody believes that what they know to be true is true because they experience it as a truth. Everybody. It's very clear that in some form, all of it's true. It's also very clear that in some form, there's a lot of delusion out there, so it's important to recognize that. And the spiritual realms is your subconscious mind. So when you tell your subconscious, right, you tell all your light, your cells, you tell your astral body, your belief structures that this is what it is, and this is what I'm experiencing, and this is where I'm going, and these are the changes I'm making, and this is where, this is what I want to achieve, and these are my goals, then everything gets in line. And there's tons of ways to do it. Journaling helps tremendously. Those of you in the course, one of the first things that I share is journal. Whenever you journal, whenever you put your thoughts and intentions and energy on a piece of paper, and you're crystallizing that intent, that energy, right, that mind, that consciousness here in this physical realm as a placeholder to manifest, it's no different than, praying. It's no different than going to the altar. It's no different than anything else. It's why it's called spelling. You are programming your subconscious to embody this idea, and you get there. I have had tons of students. You can ask them. I'm pretty sure several of them are in here now. Look at your magic journal. Look at when, their first magic journal. And I usually tell people to write out the most amazing, beautiful life you could ever freaking imagine in every way possible. This is where I live. This is how I live. If I have a partner, this is the qualities of the partner, or whatever. This is how you, make your money. This is, and write it down. In first person, like I am, I am, and put it like that. And then 6 months down the line, go back and look at your notebook, and you're going to realize, oh, wow, I have this, I have this, I have this, and I have this. I didn't even realize it. Everything you prayed for there, because you're telling your subconscious, this is what I want. You're giving it direction. If you don't give your energy direction, then you will never get there. Just like if you have a business, if you don't have a clear-cut business plan, then your business is going to fail. There's no structure. There's no, there's nothing defined within your experience, but you have the ability to do that. You have the ability to define, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm experiencing, this is who I want to be, this is where I want to be. But if you do not establish that, then you're just floating. You're doing all the practices, you're praying and wondering why you can't get to where you want to go is because you have no direction. You have no clear cut, and wondering why you can't get to where you want to go is because you have no direction. You have no clear cut, this is what I'm doing this for. And it's important that you have that in everything that you do. In everything that you do, if you know what I'm doing this for. And it's important that you have that in everything that you do. In everything that you do. If you go to the gym every day and you have no idea what you're doing, you don't have a clear cut, this is leg day, this is full body day, this is upper body day, this is what I'm doing. I'm cutting, I'm building, I'm powerlifting, I'm, whatever it is, and you're just going there, you're never going to see results because you're just doing random stuff. You have no clear cut idea of why you're doing what you're doing. But when you establish that, it becomes a subconscious thing. The way that you engage something changes. Right? Your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your relationship, your karma, what tied to that thing, it takes form because it has a structure. It has a vessel for that energy to, that energy literally just goes everywhere. And it's important that you look at that. It's very important that you look at that and you're able to give structure to your experience. And this applies to everything. We were just talking about the idea and concept of not just your manifestations, but even when it comes to, once again, your divine abundance, right? You have to believe that it's there. You have to be in alignment with it. You have to understand the metaphysics of it, because most people don't understand that. Most people don't understand how they're blocking their blessings. They don't understand how the things they're holding on to is creating negative karma. How everything in your experience, and I mean everything in your experience, all the negativity you experience, all the blessings, all the horrible stuff is a manifestation of your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. It's all you. It's nothing outside of you that causes that. And if something, and if I'm losing you on here and you're like, oh, whatever, it's so-and-so fault, then you might need to look at that because there's nothing outside of you that's causing, the negativity, and your worldview matters. Your worldview most definitely matters. Your self-image matters. The way that you relate to yourself, the way you relate to money, the way that you understand these principles, it matters. It most definitely matters. And you can experience whatever you want to experience. There's people that live right next door to each other. One person could be miserable, make the same amount of money, drive the same car, wife got the same mannerisms and everything else, and one person's miserable, the other person is living the life of their dreams. It's all about perspective. It's all about your relationship. It's all about how you relate to those things. And if you want to get out of it, you have to define, well, how am I going to get out of it? What is it that you want that's different? If not, you're never going to get there. So creating structure, creating the vessel, creating that space, and you can only do it through releasing the resistance. All right. You have to completely release your resistance to it. You have to define the structure of it. All right. What is it? What is it? And then you have to take the action. You have to have faith and belief and take action to get there. And sometimes the action is doing nothing at all. Believe it or not, and this sounds insane to all the people that's like, but money is my biggest issue. I need to get up and I got to work really hard and I got to do this and that. But that's just what they've been telling themselves. That's the movie that they keep playing in their mind because that's what society, pushes on people, is this idea that that's how it comes. No, you deserve to literally get paid to live. There's nobody in here. I guarantee you right now, there is nobody in this chat right now that is not in some place on some level that other people don't aspire to attain. There is nobody, there are none of you that are listening to this right now that don't have some skill, some insight, some knowledge in which other people are, willing to pay you for. And it's already a part of who and what you are. There's nobody in here. All right? And it might be the most fulfilling, loving thing that you do. Well, say you play tennis, you're really good. You teach tennis for a living. Depending on how you structure or whatever, you can make a lot of money doing it. It's people that crochet and make $100,000, off their brand and then make it exclusive. There's only one piece, here you go. It's in creating this image, just join the synchronicity. Once again, it's understanding, the self, understanding yourself, understanding your boundaries, understanding your belief structures, right? And understanding the power that you have. We did not come here to be slaves. We have come here to develop our spirit. All the negative stuff that you experience, all of your aversions and stuff, these are things that we come here to alchemize and to raise the frequency of. That's part of your soul's mission on being here, is to release that stuff. That's why it's happening to you. And the moment you take radical ownership so you can see it for what it is and you can let go of it, you can get there. Somebody asked a question earlier too, and I meant to answer it, but my connection got all crazy. So somebody said, I love those miracle stories too. Oh, about the abundance thing. So I'll answer that, and then Lisa, I'll answer your question. So once again, for me, my whole life is filled with miracles, and I mean this. Like I've seen this my whole life, and this is what we're developing. In each incarnation is this subconscious alignment and all the light that you're developing in your spirit, so that you always have those frequencies and tendencies and belief structures. So every incarnation, you can experience that. For me, when it comes to direct abundance, right? So remember, abundance does not mean that you're accumulating tons of money. It can be, if that's your relationship to it. It most definitely can be. Abundance means that you have the ability to do what you please when you want to do it and have nothing obstructing you. That's the beginning level of abundance. And when we're cultivating abundance, in the beginning, you begin to do more for less, and then it evolves into, now I receive more for doing less. And it grows and grows and grows. And then when you begin to build that, then your ability to navigate as you please grows. You can travel the world. It's your God-given duty and right to be able to live life to the highest ability that you can. And the creator, infinite intelligence, God, the universe, infinity, whatever you would like to call it, finds it necessary that whatever you say goes. You're made in God's image. So your belief structures and the way that you set it up, that's the way you receive it. And it could be anything. It could be anything. So don't play small. You can literally get paid to live. You have to build that energy and understand it and release your resistance to it, but you can get there. Now, in my personal experience, it's been times where I'm trying to think of it like an exact thing. I was going to Sedona, one of my first times going in Sedona, and I had some people meeting me there, and some crazy stuff happened in my bank account. So my money just came up going or whatever. I'm at the airport and I'm down $1,000, to pay for my room, for everything else. This is years ago, and I'm at the airport, but nothing in me said, let me panic, let me, do whatever. Everything in me is I got this, no matter what, I know I'm divinely protected. I had already experienced numerous miracles and stuff before. And I kid you not, as I'm going from my baggage claim, I'm sitting there, I got my bag, I bought a cup of coffee or whatever, just like clockwork. Out the blue, somebody hit me up. Oh yeah, I want to put a deposit down for this or whatever. Here you go. Here goes $1,200. All right, cool. Here you go. Just like that. All right. But when it comes to experiences like that, This goes back to understanding your relationships, right? And the people that surround you. It's people that are positive, right, in your field, and they help boost you and give you energy, and it adds to your magnetism and your electric ability to create. There's people that are neutral, and there's people that are negative, that take energy, suck that energy away. When you establish this idea and the frequency that you put out through your thoughts, your feelings, and behaviors or whatever, those people who are in alignment with that, right, who are positive on that frequency, they switch. It's a part of them that switches on based off your thoughts and feelings and emotions. And these are the people closest to you. These are the people that you are astrally connected to. These are your soulmates. These are people that, that have a belief structure and they hold space for you. And to break this down, like, think of the people in your immediate family and the people in your household. They love you and their thoughts and feelings affect you. Right? You might have had experience recently, especially with all this extra light that's here, right? Where one of the people goes to the store and you're like, oh, I need this from the store, but you didn't tell them, and they just came back, oh yeah, I got this because something in me told me to get this. Right? That subconscious alignment to that thing, but because they love you and you have this connection, they're open to receiving that telepathic connection, right? So if you believe your abundance is there, everybody that's tied to you, everybody's connected to you, everybody that's a part of your divine abundance, their thoughts and feelings and actions feel that. Boom. We're abundant. Everything that they do is going to create more abundance because they hold space for you in their field, in their consciousness. They love you, and vice versa. Now, this happens in reverse. If the people closest to you are negative and they don't believe in you, right? Whatever you're trying to attain, whatever your goals are, your intentions, if you are open and you love them, their negativity towards what you're doing is going to pull you down and you're going to be less successful. But this applies to literal miracles too. If everybody in the household believes in miracles and angels and and going through different realms and subconscious life, then everybody will be attuned to that, and it'll be very easy for you to manifest everything that you please. But if one person is just a negative Nancy, that's not real, whatever, they're going to hold you down. But the more people that's closest to you, and boom, it's there. So when you're taking on this ideology, this viewpoint, this belief structure, and you're acting accordingly, your mind's in the right place, your emotions are in the right place, all the people that's tied to that, their life begins to change too. And the same concept works when, say, you come up with a business idea. You want to bring something into form. This is anything. This is just manifestation, just 101, and in the highest Kabbalistic understanding of how it functions, right? It's not just you. The moment you decide to bring, this new system into creation, this new, system to develop your emotions, or let's say that, right? So we're going to call it the California method, whatever it is, right? The moment you say, this is what I'm doing, everybody that's tied to that, it's a part of them that's going to switch on and say, oh, I need to go learn this skill. Oh, I need to make sure I got this money. Oh, I need to make sure I got this in line, or whatever. Just subconsciously, they're not going to be thinking about you. They may not even know you. But because they're tied to bringing that thing into form, at the same time that you finally establish within your mind, I'm going to do this, everybody that's tied to it, their thoughts, feelings, and actions align to that goal. Whatever that belief structure is, whatever that thing is that you're bringing in, and the more that you're connected to the whole, the easier it is for you to bring that thing into manifestation. And the more you do it out of compassion, the more you do it out of a space of creation, more people are holding space in their mind and their reality, right? In their energy, in their field for that thing to manifest, and their thoughts and feelings will manifest in that way to bring that thing into fruition. But if you're closed off, if you have no belief in it, if it's a part of you that says this is not okay, then you're not on that tuner. You're not on that station. You're not in that realm in order to align your thoughts, feelings, and actions and manifestations to take advantage of that miracle, of that abundance, of whatever it is you wish to bring into form. So you have to do it through release. You have to do it through looking at yourself, through knowing yourself, through understanding yourself, understanding your relationships, understanding your relationship to your own self-image. All right, are y'all following me with this? Is this making sense to y'all? Is this making sense to y'all? And once again, right now is the best time to take advantage of this. The more you can understand how it works metaphysically, kabbalistically, right, and how consciousness and spirit works, the more you can take advantage of it, the more you can take, ownership of your own divine abundance. And it's beautiful. But once again, you have to align yourself mentally, actually, physically, and that was just the first example that came into my mind, but it's been over and over and over and over and over again in many, 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 many beautiful, perfect ways that things just line up, whenever I decide, cool, we're going to take a trip, take a family trip. We're going to go through, we just did this Sagadala trip through California. What happened before that is the whole family said, okay, cool. Older two kids are about to, go off to college and start working and everything else. Let's take this trip through California, and we're going to go all the way up to Oregon, drive all the way down and visit all the beautiful places in between. Now, I have very little money before this happened. And at the moment I said in my mind, okay, cool, let's do it. Boom, deposit. Okay, cool. Got a brand new Hummer to rent. Okay, cool. Got all the money. Okay, cool. Airbnb for every night for the next 8 days. And everything just line up and just literally just boom. But it's because I put structure to that manifestation. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. That energy had a pathway to flow through, and boom, it's there. But there's nothing in me to stop that from happening. There's no thoughts, no emotions, no belief structures. Nobody can tell me that's not real, RJ. You can't do that. No, I know it. I've lived it over and over and over again. And when there's a need, a necessity, boom, it flows. Just like that all the time. Now, the thing about this too is the people in your life. Once again, if you have somebody that doesn't believe in you, if you have a partner that doesn't believe in you, right, that doesn't support you, if you have people that think negatively of you, this affects you in a really, really deep way. For me, understanding where your abundance comes from, where your money comes from. We talked about this earlier. If you believe that the only way that you can make money is through your job, right? And it's not, and that's it. That's the god of money to you, is your job. And if you do not have this job, you're just going to be dirt poor and in the streets, and that's it. Well, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? But if you have space in your mind, it can come from anywhere. God is my source of abundance, the infinite creator through all the infinite ways in which I have no idea about or could even freaking conceive. I'm opening myself up to allow that to be the pathway for my abundance. And guess what? It comes. It comes. If you have somebody in your experience that, you've borrowed money from in the past or whatever, but they're, spiteful because of it, but they love you, so they'll do it anyway, right? If you have that doorway open, that money might come through there. You might not want it to, but if you have it open in your mind, they have it open in their mind, that light of abundance is going to go through the path of least resistance. Oh, they already have that open. They know it can come through there. So boom, it's going to come through there. Now, the trick is when it comes to those type of situations, tell that person you don't want nothing from them. And I mean that. And tell them, whether it's your partner, right? Whether it's a family member, whether whoever it is, if somebody is enabling you, if it's parents out there that like spoil their children, even as adults, and you're used to, when I get into trouble or whatever, I know I can count on mom or dad or, cousin so-and-so or auntie so-and-so. Nope, tell them I don't want nothing from you. Keep me out of your mind. If you see me struggling, whatever, nope, I'm building new bridges. And once you have that set and it can no longer come through that bridge, which doesn't serve you, guess what? It's going to have to come through somewhere else. And it will. And it could be 10 times better if it comes from somewhere that you can have open. It's not tied to regret. It's not tied to spite. It's not tied to any of this other stuff. But if you have the space open into a negative way to receive it, guess what? That's where you're going to get it. That's where it's going to come from, because that's where you have open in your mind. And that person has it open. And this is kind of hard to explain outside of how I just explained it. But it's a gem. This is This is important to see and understand. And like I said, I've been in situations where the person's like, but what do you mean? They care for me. So they're like, let me send you the, no, don't. I'm good. Don't worry about me. And the moment that happened, the moment they cut off their mind and everything else, then boom, it's just flowing from left and right. It doesn't have to come through that path of least resistance. Now that path doesn't exist. Now I have all these other paths in which it can flow through with ease that don't have any negativity tied to it. Right? So there's different lawfulness to this. But understand where it's coming from. And like I said, energetically, this is how we receive things. This is how consciousness move, how energy moves is through those bridges, right? So any idea, any construct that you have, looking at those doors, looking at the relationship to it, and closing the doors that aren't fulfilling, closing the doors that don't serve you, so it can come through other ways. If you find yourself, this is when, we talk about mastering the elements and bringing the elements into balance, right? If you have a air element imbalance and it's a part of you that's seeking to learn, right? It's seeking to gain knowledge and to be challenged mentally, to train your spirit. But because you have a negative balance, that doorway, excuse me, that consciousness can flow through, might be from playing video games. It might be from buying books every night, every day, and just I need to read, and never satiate your need to challenge yourself because you have this doorway open that may not serve you. In some ways it will, in other ways it won't. But if you cut that doorway off, then it's going to have to find another doorway to manifest through. It's kind of like people that are trying to fill a void. Give me a second. I haven't taken a break from talking, but I just want to let y'all know this is one of my last cups of my Sri Lankan black milk tea. So good. I got that like when I was in Sri Lanka. Fire. But once again, looking at these doorways that we allow energy to flow through and making sure that it serves you. And if it doesn't serve you, then change it. Close those doorways. You have the ability to do that. Look at everything as vessels. Looking at everything as this is the path that this energy is coming through, this energy. Remember that everything is energy. This isn't some mystical, magical, idealistic fantasy thing that's happening, right? Now, what up, Daghead? This is, everything is energy. So the energy of abundance comes through this way. The energy of working out comes through that way, that door. I got gym membership. I got, YouTube videos. I got kettlebells. I got whatever else. And that's how that energy expresses itself through me, through my thoughts and feelings and actions in the way that I choose to give life to it. Right. So we have all these doorways with all these different relationships and different energies that we're working with, but you can pick and choose what those relationships are. And if any of those relationships aren't serving you, then look at it, change it, alchemize it. And hold space for it to come in greater ways, because everything that you experience now has a limit to it. And your experience in relationship, even though you may love it how it is now, then you could be missing out on something greater if your idea and your relationship to it is limited. One of the greatest things that you can do is surrender to your divine self, your intuition, to God, to the creator, to the most high, whatever your relationship to it is, and literally having that space in your mind to experience higher frequencies of whatever it is, whether it's abundance, whether it's love, whether it's the self, right? Whether it's laughter, I want to have, a much higher frequency of fulfillment and love and compassion and, all these different things, because you might think that you're experiencing it now. You are. But there's far greater levels to all of it than you could possibly conceive, and it's up to you to have that space open and have, your mind in the infinite space instead of a limited space. So take ownership of it. Take ownership of your experience of the self. And once again, recognize that everything that you experience is a manifestation of your own thoughts, feelings, and relationship to yourself. If your partner, once again, is a narcissist, if they are verbally abusive, then it's a part of you that says that's okay. or you wouldn't be there. And I mean that. It's a part of you that says it's okay. If you're still in that relationship, it's a part of you that's saying, I don't deserve better. It's part of you that haven't developed, healthy boundaries to say, oh, look, I love myself enough to get away from this. It doesn't matter how much you love that person. If it's a part of you that puts their love above your own love for yourself, then you're both suffering. See how that sounds? In your mind, thinking that in the first person, it might be like, oh, I love this person so much I don't leave them. But it's insane to, once again, live a life suffering because of the actions of somebody else. That's a lack of healthy boundaries and lack of love for self. When they deserve to be fulfilled, and with somebody that they don't need to put down and talk too crazy or abuse or whatever it is, right? And you deserve better yourself. So looking at these relationships, looking at your experience, and recognizing that you have complete control over it. It might be scary, and that's one of the most beautiful things, is understanding that the Creator, right, the divine self, the infinite intelligence, puts us this frequency of fear in our way to make sure that we're ready for the next level. You have to be able to, feel scary because you're letting go of the experience that's below it. So that makes people feel scared. Like, oh my God, there's this life that I'm used to, this familiarity that I'm used to. I have to let it go. And you literally feel this type of fear that comes over you. But that is there to make sure that you're ready to appreciate the next level. Because every fear that I've ever broken through, that I ever say, you know what, I'm just going to, just bulldoze on through it, or, opening myself up to alchemizing it. When I did, my life took a whole nother beautiful turn, and the quality of my life advanced, right? My quality of in every way possible, mentally, actually, physically, financially, it just whole new level. But you have to face your fears. You have to release. You have to make space for that higher level of light to take within your experience, to occupy that part of your mind, that part of your reality. And then when you share it with others, they become a part of that. And those miracles and that abundance and quality of life and love and fulfillment will manifest through them as well. So look at this and understand this. And if you want to learn more, I give a whole course on how do you do this? How do you see this firsthand? How do you experience this firsthand so you can understand the principles and align yourself to it, and begin to understand, the highest universal principles through firsthand experience. It's not just philosophy. It's not like just believe this or take this on as a truth or anything like that. It's okay, well, how do you practice to develop yourself so you can become one with your infinite self? How do you train your intuition? How do you train your subconscious mind so it's always working for you and getting you to where you want to be? And that's how you become your own teacher. This is how you connect to infinite intelligence. And it's a necessary part of development, because once again, you attract what you do. You attract your frequencies, the frequency of your thoughts. The people closest to you, they have similar thoughts. Probably a lot of the same thoughts. Your belief structures, you attract the people that have those belief structures and those emotions that you can provide, and the reality in which you resonate with, it's there. Your actions too, same thing. So if you are investing in yourself, investing in your consciousness, investing in your spirit, your own growth, right, then you're going to attract people who aren't doing that. Right. And once you begin to do that, right, in the same way that when you begin to love yourself, when you begin to truly wholeheartedly look at your experience and begin to love yourself above anything and everything and everyone out there, then you're going to start attracting people who hold that same vibration. But if you don't have that, then you're going to keep bringing in the same. You're going to bring people who don't have that. Your partners aren't going to have that. Right. So it's important to, once again, recognize that it's your own actions, your thoughts, feelings, actions that manifest your reality. And when you begin to live in your fullness and have that space within your mind, your actions, your belief structures, then you become a vessel for it. But you have to clear all the ickiness out. You have to alchemize all the stuff that's stopping you from achieving and realizing it and experiencing it. Once again, if you want to learn more, check out the link in the bio. I have a whole set, system on this is how you do it. You alchemize, purify your chi, right? Bring the elements into balance, and then you train your psychic awareness, your intuition, so you can experience these things firsthand. You can learn about it intellectually, but that only means so much. The higher spiritual teachings, literally, you cannot understand without experiencing it firsthand. You can talk about it, but there's no way that you can give somebody something that's a product of the spirit without them first realizing it and experiencing it firsthand. You taste an apple, give that to somebody. You can. You can describe it with as many words as possible, as many adjectives as possible. There's no way that you can give them the taste of an apple. You taste an apple. Your spirit took the apple, ate it, your senses picked it up, and boom. That's what spiritual knowledge is like. So it's going to mean something, but you may not understand what's being taught if you have not experienced it firsthand, through firsthand experience. This is the highest form of wisdom, the highest form of knowledge. And it's very important that you're willing to invest in yourself to gain that. And the moment you begin to switch and say, I'm investing in myself, in my spirit, in my consciousness, so I can be the master of my reality, then that's what you get. And you're going to come into resonance with other people who's on that frequency, and you begin to master it. But you have to take ownership of it. If you are not investing in yourself, if there's a part of you that's saying that, I came across this, but it was too much money, or it's whatever, or you have doubt, or you have fear, then there's a part of you saying it's not okay. It's part of you saying I'm not on that frequency. But the moment you do start investing in yourself, and this is in many ways, it don't even have to be monetarily, start running every day. If you feel like you're getting a little overweight and having trouble breathing, run every day. You're invested in yourself. Read a book. Meditate, do whatever, invest your time, your energy, your awareness into something to improve yourself, and you will start to resonate with those experiences, those people, those beings, those experiences that are on that level, and you can just grow and build it from whatever level it's at. Whatever level it is. But the more you train your spirit, the more you open yourself up, the more you invest in your spirit, the more abundance you begin to have. Because once again, you're telling yourself you're worth it. If you're not doing that, it's a part of you that literally has a boundary up. I'm not worth this. If you find yourself in a space where you're not investing in yourself, then there's a part of you that's taking, more of that energy and focusing on pushing down whatever it is that's causing you that negative experience in your life. You're putting more precedence over that than yourself. You're investing into that over yourself. But the moment you invest in yourself, your whole reality begins to change. You're literally begin to embody this abundant energy because you're investing in yourself. This is what we came to do, is an energy. Because you're investing in yourself. This is what we came to do, is to train ourselves, to develop our spirit, to become the person that we want to become. Why else would you do anything else? Why would you not want to do that? I want to see some comments to this. Why would you not want to do that? What are you doing right now in your life that's so important that you deny yourself following your dreams or fulfillment or whatever it is, taking care of yourself at the very least, loving yourself? What in the world is so important that your time, energy, and awareness is going elsewhere other than that? Is it your belief structure, right? Are you scared you're going to leave somebody behind? Are you going to let somebody down? That you are developing yourself and working on yourself? That you're becoming the person who you want to be? You're achieving the things that you know you can achieve? What is it? What is so much greater than that? Let me know. I don't see no comments. There's plenty of people in here. I see 0 comments. Let me know, So once again, when you begin to embody this and give life to this, infinite type of intelligence, this investing in yourself, this is when you hold that space for miracles, and a part of you literally aligns to, I'm worth it. Your self-image begins to glow up. Your understanding of yourself begins to glow up. Your whole reality begins to take on that frequency, because that's what we're here for. And that's a sign of abundance and belief and faith and your self-image matters probably more than anything. One of the things, especially when it comes to direct abundance, is you can ask yourself, not to tell people to do this exercise all the time, how much money can you make in a day? Usually I draw it out even further than that, but right now, your belief structure, how much money do you believe you can make in one day? On your best day, if you had the correct tools, all right? If you had the correct tools and insight, understanding, the team behind you, how much money do you think you're capable of making in one day? Some people will say $100. All right, cool, no problem. $100, I can do that in a day, easy. Some people say $1,000. Some people say $10,000. Cool, no problem. I can make 10 grand in a day. Cool. On my best day, for sure, without a doubt, I can do that. Right? Some people have doubt. Some people in them, they're like, yeah, I ain't never did that before. I ain't never seen anybody do it. I don't think I could do it. And then they don't think they could do it. Right? Some people will say, $100,000, $1 million. Very few people will say $1 billion. So it's billions. Yeah. But, because the collective hasn't seen that, very few people will say that, and everything in them will take that identity on. But if you do, cool. You have the pathway open to manifest billions. And you very well can. But listening to the self, if there's a part of you that's saying, I can't do this, I ain't going to show for sure. That's what I like to see right there, and you have to have that type of attitude when it comes to what you're doing. Whatever it is, you have to have faith and belief in what you're doing. Why else would you do it? Whatever it is, don't halfway do anything. If you're going to do it to the fullest, and make sure that it's fulfilling, make sure it's fun, whatever it is, even like developing yourself, developing concentration, meditation, your path of ascension, whatever it is, make sure you're having fun doing it. Make it enjoyable. You don't have to suffer your way through it. You don't have to go through life with this idea that life is this never ending list of trials and tribulations and stuff, but people accept that as a truth, and that's what they experience. You get what you believe, whatever that is. And it could be anything. It could be anything. So looking at your belief structures, do you believe you can make $1 million in a day? I do. Cool. There's several ways to do it. There's an infinite ways to do it, right? But you have to believe that you can. If not, nothing in you is going to align to it. Not your thoughts, your feelings, actions, your relationships, or anything else. But if you believe you can, then all the people that will bring that thing into manifestation, the moment that you take that on and you begin to create a vessel for that energy to manifest and you begin to act upon it, then all the people that's tied to that, especially if you understand it's not just you. It's not just you. If you understand that, okay, cool, I'm going to make $1 million in one day, right? I'm not sure how, but I know that right now my mind is set, my emotions are set. Everything that I do from this point forward until I achieve it is going to be for me to make $1 million in one day, and you act upon it. Everybody that's tied to that $1 million, their thoughts, feelings, actions, karma, and everything else will align to bringing that thing into manifestation. You just act upon it. Boom, go towards it. And you can create miracles, literally. But you have to take on that identity that's possible. You can't have any doubt in your mind. And you can start small. The whole question about, how much can I make in a day? Start small. Cool. When I make my first $1,000 in a day, all right, cool. What's the next level? Okay, and just keep going. This is how magic works. You can't just go outside and change the weather by just reciting a spell. You have to build up the identity. Oh, when I make this cloud disappear, cool. I understand I can do that. I take on that identity. My subconscious is on board. My astral belief structures are on board. My physical actions are on board. Boom. I can just make the clouds disappear. It's like that. It takes time. You have to build up the energy to the point where, I can make it rain. I can play with the wind. I can clear this rainstorm. It's like that. It's not just going to go from 0 to 100. You have to build up that identity. You have to build up that energy. But once you build it, you have it. Once you build it, you have it. So whatever level you're at, start developing, and subconscious programming works. Listen to affirmations, develop the belief structure, start studying whatever it is you seek to do. People who read a lot of, books on drama and stuff like that, they experience a lot of drama because that's what they pay attention to. People that read self-help books, they become really strong meditators and understanding of spiritual, emotional, principles. People that, study the stock market become good traders and stuff because that's the realm they're in. That's what they're paying attention to. That's where their energy is flowing. And then they become a vessel for that level of consciousness. So pay attention to the things you want, not the things you don't want, because your reality could be anything. It could be anything that you pay attention to, anything you give energy to. That's what you're going to experience, and this matrix or system of things that people are so proudly trying to get away of, they keep themselves trapped into this idea, this concept, this dualistic state of delusion because they're steady listening to those stories and allowing that karma to manifest through them. And none of it's real per se. Now, you can believe it is, right? No, then what about the stuff on television? What about all the stuff that the news is talking about? What about all that? If it ain't got nothing to do with you? It has nothing to do with you until you make it something to do with you. Now it's a part of your reality. Now you're tied to that karma, that negativity, and you're in this realm because you're giving your time, your awareness, your energy to it. You're holding space for that to manifest through you instead of your infinite blessings, instead of your goals and your intentions. You're giving all of your time and energy to this thing that may not even be real. Most of it is not. Smoke and mirrors. Keep you part of the system. Be afraid. Keep yourself small. Keep your mind in a box because this is happening and the world is a scary place, and none of it's real. So whatever you subscribe to, all the people that think that the system is trying to hold them down and the man is out there to get them and the government is doing this and that or whatever, if you subscribe to that, then it is. That's your life. You're in that realm. You're in that reality and you're going to match that. If you literally don't pay attention to it, and you align yourself to, once again, your infinite blessings, your abundance to navigate through life without a care in the world and to be able to live a life of fulfillment, guess what? You'll experience that. But not if you ground your emotions in stuff that's not real or stuff that's negative or gossip or, the weirdness that's going on in the media. Because once again, listen, the world been ending every day since I've been alive. If you listen to the news, in my 39 years of living, the world has always been ending, according to the mainstream media. No matter what, pay attention to this. It's horrible. This is happening. Be afraid. Be afraid of this, right? Has it ended? Not at all. Not even remotely close. Not even remotely close. But to most people prepping doomsday and building bunkers and got everything going on, and the world ain't came close to ending yet. None of it is real unless you make it real. None of it is real unless you make it real. So where you place your attention, what you place your importance on since the last days, man, it's been the last day since the first days. And this is one of the craziest things is like, those are traps. That type of psychology is a trap to manifest that reality, to give power to whatever belief structure it is. All the different religions and spiritual teachings and stuff like that, are, have doomsday prophecies and things like that. That's one of the traps, some of the stickiness, some of the belief structures, astral stuff that keeps you stuck to that organization. Be afraid. Give your time and energy and awareness to us because you need to be afraid of this. And people do it. And their whole life is regulated and ruled by this thing that's not real. It's an egregore. It's not real. It's a fictitious entity in which you choose to give life to, and you live through it. You experience it because you're just giving your time and attention to it. It doesn't make it real. And then everybody else that's tied to that same idea, that's who you're going to resonate with. That's who you're going to see everywhere. When you go through TikTok, their videos are going to come up on YouTube. That algorithm, because you're in that realm, you're on that frequency. You have the same thoughts, feelings, and actions, and then you create this reality amongst each other, and you're going to reaffirm each other's belief structures. Does not make it real. This karma. This through sheer resonance. It could be whatever you want it to be. We live in the same physical realm. We live completely different realities. My life is pretty beautiful. I'm not a rich man by any means, not even remotely close. I am truly abundant, and I live a fulfilling life. I've been able to travel the world, meet really beautiful people, to experience literal miracles and tons of profound things. And this is just beginning. It's just beginning. And it's just going to grow and grow and grow. And now I'm in my accumulation phase. This is going to grow and grow and grow. And everything is aligning perfectly. But there's nothing in me that takes me from that. It says that it's not possible. And I've done it before. Even before I was on this level of understanding and ascension and intuitive guidance and Kabbalistic knowledge and everything else, like even in my past, before I became who I am today, you couldn't tell me I couldn't do something. You couldn't tell me I can't achieve something. I might not have had no clue how to do it, but I guarantee you, put my mind to it, boom, everything aligned. Right place, right person, right information, right synchronicity, boom, success happens. Let's get this thing done. Boom, whatever I put my mind to. You have the same power. You have the exact same power, the exact same level of manifestation, so pay attention to what you do want and not what you don't want. You can put your mind anywhere, but it's building the habit to make sure it gets you to where you want to be and not stuck on where you don't want to go and things you don't want to perceive and you don't want to, bring into your reality, And this might sound cold to some people, but say somebody is unalived on the other side of town. Okay. Do you need to know about it? Is it really going to affect your life? Are you going to go and give flowers to that family that you have no clue about whatsoever? But are you going to take this on and, oh, that's sad? Or are you going to be like, oh, this neighborhood is going to hell because this happened, or the world is this horrible place, or bro probably, did something. He probably messing with somebody's wife. You don't know. Usually that type of stuff, it happens for a reason. That's their karma. Are you going to take on that karma? Are you going to make that experience your experience? Because you can. Or you can, send your blessings and love and everything else and go about your business. Okay. That's horrible in their reality. Cool. Send my blessings, go about my business. Or you can attach to it and then that becomes your reality. You start seeing it everywhere. Everybody sees angel numbers, especially y'all that's in here. This is mystic talk. This is for all the mystics, and you wouldn't be here resonating with me if you weren't a mystic in heart. If you're not studying hermetics and magic and alchemy or whatever your thing is, astrology, all the different Kabbalistic sciences and stuff like that, you wouldn't be here. And I guarantee you, every single person that's in here, this is what you're doing, right? The reason you see angel numbers is because you're subconsciously aligned to it. Part of your spirit says, pay attention to me. You're magnetized. You see that your spirit is literally manifesting and communicating with you through your outward experience. That's what it means to see angel numbers, nothing more. Nothing more. Your relationship to it matters, but you see that, so your attention is drawn to it. Oh, it's 444. Oh, it's 333. Oh, it's 1111. Oh, it's 1133. Right? You begin to see these things. This subconscious, you're not looking for them, it's just there. Whatever you invest your emotions into works the same way. If you believe the world is horrible, your subconscious, your astral ego is going to make sure you see that the world is horrible. Doesn't make it true. You just see it. Subconsciously, you're going to come across news articles. Everybody's going to, did you hear about this? Did you hear about what happened? And all the gossip and stuff. And you just live in that reality. It doesn't make it real. You're just paying attention to all that stuff. Just so many beautiful things happen in the world. Literally. It's probably more beautiful things that happen in the world than, than all the negative, crazy stuff, But if you're only paying attention to the negative, crazy stuff, that's what you're going to see. That's what your reality becomes, because that's what you're feeding. That's what you're choosing to give life to. Your outer world, your outer experience, your outer reality is a reflection of what's within you. Nothing else. Nothing more. Nothing more. And I mean this 100%. The things you see in other people, when somebody is pissing you off and getting on your nerves or whatever, that's a reflection of you. What part of you is not okay with them being them? What part of you is not okay with whatever it is? And you can pick and choose how you deal with it. You can leave them alone. You can tell them about themselves. You can try to alchemize it. You can choose accordingly. But we only know our experience as much as we know ourselves, because it's a reflection of you. We only know people to the extent in which we can know ourselves. Simple psychology. It's all a reflection of the self. If you're judging somebody over something that they do, some way that they think, some way they feel, some habit they have. It's a part of you that judges them. It's not them. You're not okay with them doing what they're doing because it's a part of you that's not okay with it. Not because they're actually doing it. It's a part of you. That's your relationship to it. It's you. So how are you going to navigate through it, right? Our entire world, our entire reality is a reflection of us. And you can literally pick and choose what that is. So make sure that it's abundant. Make sure that you're working towards your goals. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you're investing in yourself. Invest in your growth. Invest in your development, your mind, and your emotions, and having a life full of fulfillment. Because if you're not, then you're choosing the opposite. You're consciously choosing to experience something else. You're telling yourself that this is not okay. You're telling yourself that I don't deserve to experience this. I don't deserve fulfillment. I don't deserve abundance. I don't deserve to live this beautiful life. I don't deserve to travel. All these different things. But the moment that, you can flip that switch and you can take radical ownership over your own experience, then you start to change these relationships. You start to change your literal reality. And when you start to develop this really deep level of faith and connection to your divine abundance, to infinite intelligence, to, the most high, whatever you would like to call it, right? Then you allow room and space for those miracles to happen. And it's a literal thing. I remember being in church growing up. I don't know what the hell these people was talking about. And they was talking about all the angels and this and that. When I got older, not even when I got older. What's crazy is I was experiencing that. I was experiencing those miracles when I was younger. But because my relationship to it was different, I didn't understand in church what they were talking about because it's not written for you to understand it in that way. Even though I was experiencing it firsthand, literally seeing angels, literally seeing, fireball go across the sky, UFOs, spirits everywhere, all types of stuff as a child. I didn't put two and two together. I couldn't understand what they were really teaching in church. Even though all that information was there, my relationship to it was not developed yet. Even though I was experiencing it firsthand. A lot of people have this. A lot of people are experiencing miracles in their life. They are experiencing abundance, but because they don't understand it, they don't see the causation chain or what it is that they're actually experiencing, right? Because of that, they become disconnected to it. You're never disconnected from the Creator. You're never disconnected from it. And some people use that type of psychology and say you are. There's a lot of Kabbalists that will say that. Oh, you're disconnected from it. You never are. You literally are not. There's no way you could possibly be. And I'm just like, there's no way you could possibly be. But if you pay more attention to, the negative aspect of all that is, then you get more of that. Pay attention to the positive aspect, you get more of that. It's all up to you. It's up to you. And the more you pay attention to it, the more that you welcome it to be obvious, the more that you are welcome to releasing your resistance, to releasing what's stopping you from getting to where you want to be, the easier it is for you to experience that. And it's beautiful, Says, dang, that's what my church life was like too. I saw the miracles, but labeled them wrong. Yeah. It's crazy. And in hindsight, hey, Augusta, in hindsight, it's crazy because like I've experienced so many different types of angels and stuff in many different ways. My divine protection, like a lot of you guys know, especially you guys has been with me for a while and in the course and everything else. Like I used to run the streets and gangbang and all of that stuff, right? To experience what this angels, like I was in the streets. I mean, like at the worst point, like ever in South Bend history, and it is bad now too. But like we was out there and always divinely protected, and I mean that. I mean like with firearms pointed in my face, bullets zooming around, all the brawls, and I mean like 50 versus 50 in the middle of the street, like the craziest, most insane everything, and never got touched, not once. Not one, not with a fist, not with a weapon, not with even though it was right there in my face, and like over and over and over again. Not once, not twice, not a dozen times. I mean, like we was out there, and always protected, always, and then in the craziest, most miraculous ways. Had experiences when literal angels came to me, and sung the songs that I was listening to as I was cussing out the Catholic Church. It was like, "Nah, bro, we got you." Always there. Always. And you have to hold that space, because even when I was doing that, even when I was in the dualistic realms, that light that you're manifesting, that light that you are developing, right, is it's already a part of you. All the practices you do now even affect your past. All the practices you do in the future affect you now, right? And this is why investing in your consciousness, investing in, your path, your destiny, your development is so important, because it's not a linear thing. The mental body, your spirit, is not bound by time nor space. You can place your mind anywhere in all of creation. Your spirit is not bound by time and space the same way your body is. Your soul, your astral body, is not bound by time the same way that your physical body is. So your thoughts, feelings, actions, belief structures, and all the karma and other levels of consciousness that it's tied to is throughout time and space. But you just need to take the step to invest in it, and it affects you in miraculous ways. I promise you it does. I promise you it does. And everything that I share and that I teach is so you can experience that firsthand. Do this practice, do this meditation, go through the layers, alchemize your stuff, bring balance to the elements, master the elements, train your psychic ability so you can touch the formless realm, so your mind becomes expansive, so your mind becomes flexible, so you can begin to understand the formless aspects of creation, because there's no way you could ever understand it without your mind being in those realms and touching it. That's the difference between the philosopher and the sage. They can say the same terminology, same proverb, same principle and everything else, but the philosopher will have no idea of the extent of what it is that they're even talking about. Not without firsthand experience, because it means something from whatever level you're at. And everything I teach is to make sure that you see it from the highest level, so you become your own teacher. And you are connected to infinite intelligence. There's no better relationship that you could ever develop between you and infinity, you and all that is. There's nothing greater than that at all. And I mean that in any way, shape, or form. I don't care what science, I don't care what level, modality, whatever it is. There is nothing in the world that is greater than building that relationship, because that is infinite intelligence. And when you build that yourself, you become your own teacher. All of our systems, all of our sciences come from that. It all comes from that, not from a man. It comes from that connection. And you can build that, you have that, but to be able to see it and understand it firsthand, this is why I developed the system. Whether you want to get into Kabbalah, whether you want to get into, invocation, whether you're a spherical, planetary spherical, alchemist or magician or whatever you want to call yourself, and all of it's there. If you just want to, heal yourself and then transmute your traumas and stuff, this is what I teach, step by step. So if you're interested, if you want to take that step to invest in your consciousness and to your development and developing this subconscious, intuitive pathway, this is what it's for. So you can check out the link in the bio. That information is there. What I teach right now, it's a year-long subscription. You get year-long access. There's hundreds of videos, and there's different video libraries. Level 1 is mastering the elements. Level 2 is psychic development. So literally, how do you train your spirit? How do you understand the 6 gates of your consciousness? How do you develop that? How do you become aware of your mental body, your astral body, your physical body? How do you separate the 3? How do you develop mental transference skills? How do you place your mind into an object, into a realm, a frequency, into a space, so your mind relates to it and you can develop high-level metaphysical, spiritual, mental strength? This is what it's for, And once again, the reason you want to do that is so you can understand the higher principles, so you can interact with the higher levels of the self, and you can understand it through firsthand experience. That's the only way you can get there. You can't do it through just reading. You have to do correct practices. And make sure you verify everything that I've been even telling you, make sure that you verify all that information. Don't take what I say for, what it is. Do the practice. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. If you believe in yourself, you're investing in yourself, you do it, this is where you come into a nonstop stream of epiphanies and aha moments. You begin to understand yourself, understand your place in creation, understand your divinity, and then life becomes easier. Your quality of life almost immediately raises. Some people, even come and say, well, I'm having money issues and stuff. Well, once again, alchemizing those relationships. What is your relationship with it? Do you understand it? Are you doing what you're doing only because of yourself, because of selfish means, because you want to, put on a show? Are you doing it to look good in front of everybody? Are you doing it, to help humanity? Are you doing it to help your family? These things matter. If you're doing it just for yourself or just because you want to show that you're better than somebody, then the odds are you're never going to achieve it. Because that energy that you have, that lower, I want to show off and do all this other stuff or whatever, it's going to stop you. You may achieve some level of success, but it will never be long lasting. Now, if you're doing it for the benefit of all those involved, if you're doing it for your family, if you're doing it for your community, if you're doing it for, whatever it is, then those doorways and pathways begin to open up, and all those people that's tied to it begin to feed into it and hold space for that success and for everything to manifest. So these relationships matter, right? But you have to be able to see these things. You have to be able to understand these connections. And this is a beautiful question. And I thank you, Julie, for asking this. I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Says, what about Donald Trump and all the billionaires? Okay. Part of the highest teachings in any spiritual system and in all the spiritual hierarchy are the teachings on non-self. Now, if you believe that there is a omnipotent, right, omnipresent intelligence that permeates all things, and there's nothing outside of that. There's nothing outside of that. There's no opposing force. There's no opposing force. All the things that you believe to be negative and evil is also one with all. There's no separation. The only difference is your relationship to it. And I mean that. Because no matter what, if you believe that something is evil, if you believe that something is negative and it's just, whatever you believe, that's what you're going to see no matter what. No matter how much evidence points in the opposite direction, you get what you see no matter what. Most of what's on television, smoke and mirrors. Most of what's in the media, most of the articles that's on there, smoke and mirrors, not real. You can look up an article right now and say, is green tea good for me? You're going to get a million articles saying yes. I guarantee you right now, type in, is green tea bad for me? It's going to tell you all the reasons that it's bad for you, and it might just unalive you. It's all about what you believe, and that's how you're going to see it. That's the light in which you're cultivating. Everything serves a purpose. Everybody, every action, all the beautiful, all the bad, all the vile, all the light, it all serves a purpose. It's all one. Light and darkness is the same thing. There's no light without darkness. There's no darkness without light. It's the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. And when it comes to this system, of things, that right now where we're at in our evolution towards higher levels of perfection as a whole collective, it's perfect in every way possible. And it's growing into greater levels of perfection. In industry, in politics, everything is perfect exactly the way it is for our stage in evolution, and is growing into greater levels of perfection. There has to be polarity. There has to be some type of movement of energy, or it would just be. It wouldn't exist. So as we continue to grow and evolve, our politics grow and evolve. Even all of the freedoms that we have now are literally here because of people's selfish ambitions in politics. You wouldn't be able to navigate life the way you do now and to have the freedom and liberty in which you do now if it wasn't for some selfish politician that may have lied their butt off. And it all serves a purpose, 100% of it. It's all about your relationship to it. You can choose for it to elevate you, or you can choose to pay attention and let it bring you down. It's up to you. What is your relationship to it? Do you want to see the truth of it? Most people only see things based off of their emotional attachment and belief structure to what that thing is, because that's how we function as mental, astral, physical beings. You only get what you believe in. Now, if you're open to seeing the universal truth of things outside of your own biases and what's projected to you and what's within the collective, it's a very high level of light to relate to things through. For me, I choose to see things outside of my biases. I want to experience the universal truth of everything that comes into my awareness. I do not care to see it based off of my own belief structures. That's a limited space. I want to be able to see the universal lawfulness and truth of everything that comes into my awareness. Anything less than that is BS. Who cares? Who cares? There's always a good and bad. You look at any article, anything that happens in society, there's going to be a positive and negative aspect to it. You can Google it. There's a positive side, negative side. It's all just opinions and belief structures. And whatever you take on as a belief that's tied to it, that's what you're going to see. Most of what's out there is misinformation. There's more misinformation out there than there are truths. And I mean that when it comes to everything, to science, to spiritual understanding, to everything. Everybody's just telling you what they believe, whether it's a scientist, a doctor, a guru, a master. They're just giving you their belief structures. And when you take it on as a belief, that's how you experience it. This is a valley and peak of the same rolling wave. Yeah, exactly. And like I said, this is why precepts are important. For anybody that's interested in joining the course, the first couple things that we talk about is establishing your precepts. One of my first precepts is literally what I just told you, is that I choose to see the universal truth, the universal lawfulness of everything that I encounter. I do not care to see things based off of my own biases, based off of some belief structure that I may have had no choice in taking on. It could be from my parents, from my culture, from religion, from society, from the video game I played, or from the news, or some movie, or some subconscious programming that I have no clue about whatsoever. I do not care to relate to anything off of that. I want to see the universal understanding of what is, because that's all that matters. I don't want to be right. I want to see truth. To grow spiritually, you're going through different levels of truth. You're developing your spirit so you can realize higher levels of truth from wherever you're at. Go into higher levels of truth. Be able to release and to let go of where you're at, what got you to where you're at, so you can go into the next level. You can't cling on to any of it. And I mean that, because a lot of times we come into resonance with things that aren't true, just so we can move beyond that thing that's not true. And if you believe you know it all, then you already lost. There's no way you can ever grow and evolve or learn anything if you believe you already know it all. And the wise man knows that he knows nothing at all. One of the greatest philosophies you can ever take on is, I don't know. I don't know. Until I prove it to be so, I do not know. So, and then like I said, unless you experience it firsthand, take everything with a grain of salt. Everything. Unless you experience it with your own two eyes, with your own experience, in or out of your body, in whichever way, whichever realm, then none of it's real. None of it's real. And this is a very important, habit to kind of take on, and is to verify everything. Because if you don't, then subconsciously, you're going to begin to take on all these different concepts and ideas and truths that aren't for you and that aren't real. You be living a literal life filled with delusion. That's what you'll begin to experience. So like I said, for anybody interested, check out the link in the bio if you want to join this course. I'm actually going to do like a ground up, shorter course that I'm going to include, where we're going to start from the beginning. I have all types of new ways to do different practices to get you to, the point of Wuji or Akasha. So you have that access. So in the next week, this is what I'm going to begin to work on and develop and put out there. So it's the perfect time to join. If you're interested, check out the link in the bio. It's a year-long subscription. You can sign up for the Discord. We have a whole community. There's plenty of people in here now that's already part of the course. You can ask them their opinions and experience. It's life changing. It's beautiful. And this is one of the ways that you become your own teacher. This is how you connect to infinite intelligence through firsthand experience, how you, raise and ascend beyond the spiritual hierarchy so you can understand it through firsthand experience. I talked about Kabbalah earlier. This is how you live Kabbalah. Through first-hand experience, how you train your subconscious, you open up the space in your mind, and then in your spirit, you purify your chi, and you live it. You don't have to study any books. You are one with infinite intelligence. You can feel the energy that comes through. You can literally align yourself to, once again, your limitless abundance, to your divine, energy, to your God self. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's a aspect of the spirit. You don't have to read it from a book or learn it from, some man or anything like that. These are practices, principles, and that you should learn to get to where you want to go. And you just live it. You live it. I tell you, it cracks me up, and I'll answer your question too in a second. It cracks me up because people come to me all the time in live streams, and they'll say, "Oh, what you just said, I heard Bashar say this, or I heard Neville Goddard say this, or have you read this book? Because they were saying, no, none of it, not at all. I just listened to Neville Goddard for the first time like a week ago. Well, so and so talked about him." I live it, bro. Like, this is my life. This is how it works. And it's not because I, necessarily got it from somewhere or anything like that. Just, you're aligning yourself to that infinite intelligence. So you live it through firsthand experience. And most of it is common sense. Being psychic, a large part of being psychic is literally common sense, but it's not common because a lot of people, their minds and their awareness is filled with delusions and falsehoods and all these other vibrations that's not allowing their spirit to be still enough to perceive what is. They perceive what they want to perceive. They perceive their belief structures and things that's projected upon them that left an imprint on their spirit. And then creates a negative type of karma in their field. So yeah. Okay, so going back to these comments, says, can you talk more about your experience with angels / spirit? So the spiritual hierarchy, right? There are angels. There's different type of angels. When people experience what they would call angels, most of the time it's just some level of intelligence that's above their pay grade. When you experience any type of light that you're not attuned to, that's above your pay grade, it just appears to you as bright light, right? Now there are literal angels, like there are Catholic angels, there are Buddhist bodhisattvas and angels and beings like that. The beings of Saturn, they're universal accountants. If you have positive karma, you'll experience them as a literal angel. They'll be shining, great, filled blessings. You can experience that same exact being if you have negative karma, and they will appear to you as darkness, as a reflection of you. It's a reflection of you, your belief structures, and the realms in which you dwell in. If you're in the lower dualistic realms, the realms that are filled with delusion, then you're going to experience darkness. You're going to experience your shadows because they're binding you to those lower realms that keep you experiencing lower things and then drama and gossip and hate and resentment and all this stuff that people hold on to keep them bound in those realms. And it's not until you release that, right? When you can see your shadows, when you can see and start to show love and shine light on these lower aspects of the self, that you release yourself and you start to literally raise up into higher levels of being. And you experience angels. Some of your demons are literal angels. They're the same thing. Your demons that are trying to show you, hey, you should not be doing this. You should release this. You should alchemize this. You should do the thing that you know you should do instead of holding on to this skeleton in your closet or this dark thing that you don't want to look at, but you're still engaging in and giving life to. That's your angel telling you, hey, this is what you're here for. Pay attention to this. Pay attention to this. Shine light on this so you can raise it up. And it's important for you to recognize these energies, these spirits, these aspects of the self, because that's what spirits are. This is why subconsciously we use terms like in the spirit of, whatever, in the spirits of love, in the spirit of forgiveness, in the spirit of your giving expression to spirit. Everything that is you is a manifestation of you giving expression to some spirit, some consciousness, some light, some way of being. Everything from the clothes you wear, you're giving expression. I am giving expression to the spirit of Nike. This is a Nike t-shirt. This is my wearing. This is a literal manifestation for my like for this brand of Nike. It has a sun on it, some waves, or mountains. I don't even know what it is. I know that's a spherical object that looks like sky. But I'm giving literal expression and life to that. And you are taking on that light and consciousness. Everything about you is that same thing. If you love banter and to laugh and to, do whatever, you're giving life to that spirit. Right? So if you want to experience angels and higher spirits and higher levels of consciousness, you have to become a vessel for that. Or if not, you're going to be a vessel for lower consciousness, for, once again, gossip, drama, trauma, negative things, narcissism, like all types of other stuff. And some people live in those realms and choose to give those spirits expression. So the term angel, it's a thing in the spiritual hierarchy or whatever, but, it's still subjective. And depending on what realms you dwell in, an angel to you could just be a being that is just a higher level, which will literally be an angel. I often share the, when I first got here to California, we went to Big Bear and the street preacher, and he had to be fresh out of prison. Cause he was fired up too. He was yelling at people. He was like, "You're going to go to hell if you don't repent for your sin, and you're gonna, know what I'm saying, Holmes." He was like, "You're doing all this crazy stuff, and you're going to go to hell. You're going to burn in fire," and really passionate about it. But to the people that's below those realms, that might have just got out of prison and running the streets, gang banging, like everything else, they might see him and I need to sit here and listen to that. To them, that light is above their pay grade. Oh, maybe I don't want to go to hell. Maybe I do need to get my act together. Maybe I do whatever. And that dude may literally be shining and bright, and all his energy, literally as low frequency as it is, telling somebody, "You're going to go to hell if you don't do this," or whatever, even though it's to somebody on a higher level. Yeah, that's crazy. Don't be yelling at me, bro. Like, I got this. But somebody below that, all that light that he's giving expression to, could be the light of angels. On that level, boom, that's angelic light to you. That's going to bring you up to this next level. Typically when people think of angels or let's say archangels, they're talking about some of the beings of the sun spirit. Even the Holy Spirit is one of the purest tuning forks in the sun spirit. And none of them are bound to a pantheon. They're all just, most of the universal frequencies and intelligences that hold a place in just the way that creation functions is not bound by a religion. It's just these people gave it this particular name. If you go into Asia, and then some of the other cultures or whatever, they may be connecting to the same literal consciousness and just call it something else. For example, Akasagarbha. In Buddhism, Akasagarbha is the gatekeeper of the Akasha. In other traditions, they call him something else. Even the Holy Spirit, they call it something else. And you'll see depictions of the white dove in many cultures, not just in Catholicism. It's still a symbol of the Holy Spirit. And, people connect to the Holy Spirit throughout the entire world, not just Christians and Catholics, And, these are different beings in the spiritual hierarchy. Literally all the archangels are positive, aspects of the sun spirit. And there's high and lows within even the sun spirit, And there's positive and negative, to all of them. For every positive being and intelligence, there's a negative aspect to it. And this is universal until you get to the light of the creator, which is everything. And so, that when it comes to angels and spirits on that level, that's kind of the lawfulness that is tied to it. It's a law that you can only connect to a being or consciousness that you are a vibrational match to. If you have not cleaned up your act, if you have not developed yourself, you may experience, Archangel Gabriel, but you're only going to relate to him on your own level. It may not be the actual consciousness of it. It's whatever astral realm you're in. It's that angel on that level, which could be a limited relationship. You can do magical evocations all day, but no matter what, you can only connect to what you're a vibrational match to. And that's law. So the more you become infinite, the more you develop yourself, the more you release your mind into infinite space and infinite intelligence, the more you can connect to creation and consciousness on a much higher level. But you have to be willing to let go of the things that's binding you to those lower realms. And, that's what we're here for, Without a physical body, without being here in this physical realm, it would be a very, very, very long, hard road for you to grow and to develop yourself. And this is on a spiritual level. There are literal deities, gods and goddesses, which are worshipped on this planet today that are seeking to reincarnate so they can continue their journey and go into higher states of being. They cannot do it without a physical body. You are the same. You are the same. Because we have a physical body, we have the ability to touch the lowest low and the highest high in one lifetime. It would take eons for you to do that without a physical body. This is a blessing to be here. So some of us choose to take advantage of our divinity and follow our spiritual path and get this higher, more spiritual development and accelerate that. That's what ascension is, to be an active participant in your own evolution. And other people they're not there yet. So they're just learning the other lessons. They're learning how to love people and to love themselves and to, go on that, and just that might be their thing. They're learning how not to hold on to resentment. Those of you who are mystics that are following me and listening to this now and this resonates, it's because you've done all that work before. There may be only a couple things you need to, alchemize and stuff, but, you're here to start where you left off at. And that's my path of service. That's why I teach what I teach, so you can start where you left off at and then continue your journey and develop yourself to a much higher level and even exit the system if you please. But it's a self-guided thing. You become your own teacher along the way. So I just wanted to answer that for you and to share that. I pray that everybody, is able to access their divine abundance, to their divinity, to live a life full of fulfillment. And you deserve it. If you don't believe you deserve it, then change it. Then literally change it. Because nothing's stopping you from doing it other than you. Nothing is stopping you from living the life of your dreams, from leaving your body to experiencing different realms, to being one with the creator and living out your dreams. Nothing's stopping you but you and your belief structures. So be willing to change it. Hold space in your mind, in your heart, in your physical environment for yourself. Invest in yourself, invest in your spirit, invest in your consciousness. And the more that you do that, the more that your reality begins to shift and change, and you can take ownership of your divine abundance and your divinity. But you have to invest in yourself and put that time and energy into yourself, so your reality begins to reflect that. And the people in your reality will be doing the same. So give it a try. And if you're interested, once again, check out the link in the bio. If you want to pick my brain about anything, you can book a one-on-one. If you need to get rid of some anxiety, habits, demons, succubi, incubi type of energies you might have in your space, in your mind, in your actions, in your heart, by all means, you can book a quantum healing session, because that's what I deal with. If you would like to come in person and join in one of the workshops, we will be in Sedona October 4th through the 10th, and then from the 10th to the 16th. From the 4th to the 10th, we're going to be doing a magical invocation workshop, which is included with the course, and we can meet one-on-one and do all the aspects to actually learn from the spiritual hierarchy, how to equalize with it, how to do it, firsthand, how to do it safely, how to literally align yourself to, the secrets of the universe, and literally how to raise through the vibrational scale so you can become one with all that is. And there's a lawfulness to it. And there's a smart way to do it. There's stupid ways to do it too. So that's there. From the 10th to the 16th, we're doing our Hermetic teacher training. And it's not just to be a teacher in Hermetics or in Kabbalah. It's whatever field that you're in, how to become that top 1% in whatever field you're in, how to align yourself spiritually to live a life of fulfillment in the field that you're in. And you can bring that light from the spirit level in. So when it comes into form, it touches you before it goes down the vibrational scale. If you want to be a creator, if you want to bring new technologies, new systems, new levels of development in whatever field you're in, this is what this workshop is for. And this is October, I believe, 10th through the 16th, and the information is in the link for that as well. We are also going to be in Sri Lanka, which is one of my favorite places in the whole world. Sri Lanka has such a powerful energy. Any place that I do these workshops and retreats, it's usually during the cosmic synchronicity. It's usually a very powerful place, and it will be with a group of powerful people. So this energy just multiplies many times over, and it's life-changing. It'll be life-changing just for you to go there on your own. But it's even more life-changing to go there with a group of people who are actual practitioners. Even more life-changing to go there to this magical, powerful place with a group of magical, powerful practitioners doing magical, powerful stuff. And it amplifies many times over. You literally get decades worth of development, and in a very short amount of time. So this Sri Lanka trip that's coming up is beautiful. We're going to be in all 4- and 5-star resorts as we're traveling through the island. There's temples that are there that are thousands of years old. I teach a lot about Buddhism because it's a practice, it's a system. In the same way that Hermetics is a system of ascension and initiation and development, Buddhism is literally the same thing. All the same teachings and everything else are there. So going into these ancient places with these ancient energies that have been cultivated for literally thousands of years, the changes that you have on your own consciousness, on your experience, on your blessings, and your knowledge, your wisdom is deeply profound. And it's very, very beautiful. So we'll be in Sri Lanka in May for like 10 days, probably come like 2 days before, leave a couple days after, and it's beautiful. We'll be going to all the sacred places, and I think the itinerary and stuff is on the link. All the information is there if you want to sign up. If you have questions, once again, you can book a one-on-one. You want to set up a payment plan. When you do, I guarantee you will not regret it. It comes with year-long access to the Master Key Psychic Ascension program, so you can start practicing now. So when we go, you'll have the skills that you need to take full advantage of being in these energies, being in these powerful places, connecting through the Akasha, running that light through the 3 bodies, and being able to share, this ancient knowledge and wisdom relative to your path in really powerful ways, So this is what I do it for. So like I said, message me if you have any questions, book a one-on-one. This is what I'm here for. It says, please help me understand something quickly. But I was taught as a child what you are talking about. I was told not good. Why? Because these systems that are out there that tell you that this stuff is bad, they tell you put the blinders on. Don't train your spirit. Listen to me. I'm the holy man. I'm the only person that has this connection to the divine. You don't have it. Right? Put the blinders on. Don't learn about yourself. I mean, what negative comes from learning about yourself? What's negative about understanding your place in creation, understanding your power, right? And typically it'll be people that's in, Christianity. I grew up Christian, also grew up Jehovah's Witness and studied all types of other systems and things too. So I understand it. I understand what it was traditionally supposed to be. I understand, you can think about the Council of Nicaea when they took all the different practices and insight and everything else and formulated how the system's going to be so they can use it as a form of control to keep people at a certain level. And even understanding how all church is not like that. Even between denominations, some people understand the truth and still Christian. Some of the most spiritually enlightened people that I've ever met are completely Christian, believe in Jesus, and still have learned from me. Like this, what I teach is not religious. Even when I share information of Buddhism is not a religion. People make it a religion. There's Buddhist cults, and the same way there's Christian cults and everything else. There's a lot of stuff that's out there that's just weird. Buddhism is a system of practices and using quantum physics as a means to liberate your spirit. A lot of the things that Jesus Christ taught directly is exactly what Shakyamuni Buddha was teaching. Literally, same thing. But people that have organizations and systems, right, they all have a mechanism to keep you within it, or else they wouldn't exist. They're all astral organizations that have some sort of attachment to tell you, put the blinders on, you're going to go to hell if you train your own spirit. If you develop your own relationship with God, then you're going to go to hell because they need you to stay there, or else you won't give them money. You won't, feed their egregore, and that's why those things exist. And Hermetics is not tied to any of that. I've had, people from around the world, this is a universal thing. It applies to everything. I've had Muslim mystics as students. I've had Christian, Catholic. I've had priests, literally, Buddhist students. They were everywhere in between. People from around the world, from UK, Ireland, Australia, and everywhere else in between. It's not tied to any particular thing. It's universal. All of our sciences come from this knowledge. This is the knowledge of the sages that's been passed down for generations. And the only reason why they say it's not good is because the Catholic Church spent all their time and energy through the Crusades of literally unaliving millions of people who were trying to tell the truth because they wanted to control the world. That is the only reason why it was hidden and so it's not good. That is the only reason. And if you understand Catholicism and the deepest knowledge and even Christ consciousness and what's literally taught, all the rituals and literal mudras and everything else and magic that they do, it's no different. Same thing. It's literally the same thing. But they cannot control somebody and keep it within the system if you know that and you understand that. Right? If you understood that your closest connection to infinite intelligence, to infinity, to God, to your higher self, your guardian angel, whatever you would like to call it, if you understood from the beginning that it was all within you and you can have a firsthand experience of what that is, then you wouldn't need anybody. You wouldn't need to give, this place, this person, this organization, your time, energy, and money or anything. You would just live. You would just live. You would be in your divine abundance. You would understand your place in creation. You would just be. And be happy doing it. And trying to get you back to that. You said, yeah, they wanted the magic for themselves. Yeah, same thing. Literally same thing. Stuff that they teach, even the whole ritual when you go into church, every system has some form of this. One, they're either going to be chanting together, saying your prayers together, doing music together, whatever it is, to get everybody's energy attuned into one frequency. This little light of mine, I'm going to let it. Everybody tune in, same frequency. Cool. Now we can funnel this energy. We can channel this. We have this vessel between all these people that's in here in this space, and whatever we say, wherever we guide this energy, that's what we're going to use it to manifest whatever it is that we're doing. And, it's not all with evil intentions, but you're part of that. system. You're a part of that. You go to the Buddhist temple, they're going to be doing the chants. They're going to be invoking the Buddhist light and stuff like that, so it can guide them throughout the day. Certain churches, they may be invoking the Holy Spirit and waving the Holy Spirit in the crowd to heal people and everything else, but they all have some ritual to get everybody attuned into one thing, so all that energy could manifest for whatever it is that they're bringing on and doing. And at the end, if they tell you, if they give a whole 20-minute sermon on how you need to pay more money or whatever, you might need to worry about it. How in this book, and you need to do this, But once again, the greatest knowledge you can have is to know yourself, train your intuition. It's part of your spirit. When your spirit is telling you, oh, I shouldn't be here. Oh, I should be doing this. Oh, I shouldn't make this decision. And then you do it anyway. Oh, something told me. Yeah. Listen to your spirit. Listen to God. That's literally God telling you, hey, don't do this. But that part of you is you. It's not outside of yourself. And as you ascend, it turns into this, it's me and something separate, into this is me. This is me. This is the I, which is all that is. So as you ascend, it comes into this more diverse type of consciousness, into this consciousness of oneness, because you become more of God. Literally, you're ascending through the layers of consciousness and you become more of God. We're talking about, I'm a godly man. Yeah, because more of you is God. When you live in a world of delusion, right, and duality, then you're separate from it. You're separate from everything. It's either this or that. It's good or bad. Angels and demons and this spiritual game banging thing that you signed up for. And you're in that realm and you experience it in the physical. You experience all the war and hate and fights and gossip and tabloid political stuff, because that's what you're in. That's the realm you're tied to. So just trying to bring you guys up out of there. So if it resonates with you, this is for you. And I know a lot of people even feel like, oh, this makes sense. It's a part of you that's like, yeah, and then it's either you listen to it or you don't, and it's up to you, but each path has karma. Everything that I do is just, how do you, develop that relationship with yourself? How do you develop your intuitive senses, your literal spirit senses, psychic ability, so you can understand the self, understand your reality, understand your place in creation and your divinity, and take ownership of it. So you become your own teacher. You become the master of your destiny, and not, these things that are projected upon you, from society and the people around you and stuff, And this is why even in the Bible, say not to be of the system. It's not saying that the system is like this negative entity that's out there to destroy you. No, it's there for a reason. It's there for you to have the polarity, to see what's real and what's not. Something to submit yourself to that causes suffering, or something you can overcome and transcend so you can get to know the true self. That's what it's there for. It's all part of the same whole. It's not something negative. It's not something that's out there as this thing that's meant to hold you in, or no. It's up to you to listen to your spirit. So when your spirit is saying, oh, I need to go out in nature. Oh, I need to trust myself, love myself. I need to set up healthy boundaries. I need to do this and that. This is your training. This is school. Listen to your intuition. Listen to that higher part of you that's always guiding you to your evolution. And you get there. But it's not a negative, evil thing that's out to get you. It's the same thing. Same thing. And I'll answer this last question. If y'all got any other questions you might want to answer now, I've been streaming for like 2 hours now. But I'll answer this question. If you have any other questions, let me know. All right. So what are overthinkers? People who are stuck in their mental body and have so many things within their mental space, and they have no way to concentrate or to allow it to subside and release it. That's what overthinkers are. Your thoughts are not yours. It's just energy that's within your space. And if you don't have concentration or a way to demagnetize all of those thought forms that's there, it's just going to bing, 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 bing. Boom, the mind is not still. And this is why when people start concentrating and getting into meditation, even if you're not meditating correctly, you're developing a type of stillness, a type of awareness in which you start paying attention to the thoughts, and the thought forms go further and further away. How to break away from it. One of the very first practices I teach is literally the first meditation that I teach is to observe your thoughts as they rise and fall away. Observe your thoughts as they rise and fall away. You have to be a silent observer and just pay attention to your own mental space. Just sit there quietly. You can do it right now. You can do it with you right now. Just sit quietly. You don't even have to be in an asana. Just sit very quietly. What helps is if you enter into your state of prayer, state of surrender, state of stillness, sacredness, devotion to your path, a state of reverence, everything becomes more still. And from that state, just pay attention. Just observe your thoughts as they rise and fall away. You're not generating anything. You're not consciously trying to think of anything. Just be aware. Now, when thought forms enter into your awareness, create more space between it. So you're observing without attaching to it. Just quietly sit and observe. Every now and then a thought will touch you. Oh, I need to go do the dishes. Oh, this person did this. Oh, whatever comes into your mind. And you're developing the skill to demagnetize and release that touch moment. When a thought form touches your mental body, and then you begin to vibrationally match it, and then it melds together with your mental body to build a story. And this is how things manifest. And if you haven't developed the mental awareness in your mental body, then this is constantly happening. All these thought forms are just boom, boom. You're just absorbing into and matching it. And it creates literal karma and stories in your experience. But through developing the skill, sitting quietly and just observing your thoughts as they rise and fall away without touching them, then you become free. You begin to liberate yourself from outside projections. You begin to liberate yourself from all these things that you have emotional investment into. And it's not saying that you just forget about them or anything. It's saying that when you are able to develop the space, it's as if the thought forms start coming from further away. You get like a buffer zone within your mental awareness. And you can pick and choose what you give expression to. You can look at it outside of just attaching to it and it building a story. And what I mean by this is, the aspect of willpower. If you do not have this level of skill to demagnetize the thoughts that come into your awareness, then most of what you do will be subconscious. It will be based off of the things that you just automatically attach to, and then it builds a story. It begins to build feelings of resonance. You begin to act along those feelings, and then that thought form literally takes place. It just goes, and then you just run along with it. There's no liberation in that. Your karma is predestined by whatever you have no concentration from and an emotional investment to. And it's pretty deep. It's pretty deep. It's simple, but it's deep. Universal knowledge is simple, but it's just really deep. And most people live their life in this way. Something will enter into their awareness. Their mind literally vibrationally matches it. It builds a story and feelings and urges for you to act upon it. And then boom, that's your karma. You begin to act out that story. On a extreme level, say you get in an argument with somebody and they start yelling at you. You're calm at first, but they're yelling at you. If your mind is not still and concentrated, the moment they start yelling at you, you're either going to demagnetize it. Oh, cool. I'm not going to, engage in that. Most people don't have the concentration to do that. The moment that one person starts yelling, you literally attach to it. It builds a story. You take on that anger and vibration. You begin to yell back at them. You're no better than they are. They presented something, a thought, an emotion. Boom, you matched it. And now you're in this fight because you have no concentration in your ability to alchemize it, to demagnetize it, to stop it. And it just plays. It's a very strong emotion. People live their whole life like this. Their whole life is literally dictated by all these external things, these thought forms, these things they see on social media. All their aspirations are what they see on the screen. Most of which is not, something that they truly want. They see something, oh, that's cool. They build an astral emotional attachment to it. I want this. And then boom, it seeks to express itself through their thoughts, feelings, actions, and experience. And that's their karma. They then took on the karma of that. People that have no level of concentration. If they sit in front of the television all the time and they haven't developed themselves in this way, literally their whole life begins to be regulated by what they see on television, what's on there, and they may not see the causation chain of why their relationships are a reflection of what's on there, but that's how it works. Their astral body is just floating in the astral space of what's being projected through the black mirror. Says, you're amazing. Your energy is new for me. Oh, well, you're welcome and thank you. So am I wrong for defending myself if someone disrespects me on purpose? No, defend yourself. Put up boundaries. You're supposed to. It's your duty to let everybody else down as long as you do not let yourself down. This whole idea of, I just got to be all love and light and let people run over me, that's not real. That's a delusion. That's a delusion. Sometimes, in order for you to set boundaries, you might need to cut somebody out. Because that's how they're going to learn. They'll be like, that might need to be how you alchemize it. It's literally not this whole idea of, I'm just all love and light and peaceful and zen and everything else. Because even within Buddhism, the same peaceful, Buddhas have, their protective, wrathful form. You need to, it's important to recognize that. And we, in order for you to be whole, in order for you to be holy, you have to recognize that you are both dark and light. You're not supposed to ground yourself in either one. You're supposed to balance the two. That's what makes you whole. If you're just all light, some of that light, too much light can blind you. Too much darkness can blind you too. You have to balance the two so you can be whole. That's what it means to be holy. You can look at stories and, even like the Holy Ghost. The Holy Ghost was unaliving people. If you see the Holy Ghost, which is separate from the Holy Spirit, the Holy Ghost is dark and light. It's gray. It can perform miracles and heal things and bring things back to life. And it can also take you out, you and your firstborn child. So, it's very important to see that and understand that. The one Shaolin monk or whatever that I think we had the same mentor, he was saying, Buddha mind, demon fist, play with me if you want. I can enlighten you or I can knock your lights out. Which way you want to go, so, I joke, but, it's important to understand that and to literally be one with yourself and recognize yourself. Says, how you been? I've been beautiful, man. I spent 3 months in Sri Lanka, came back, took a bunch of my students on a trip through California. We went through all these beautiful, amazing, sacred places, went to the Sequoias, went to Mount Shasta, the Redwoods, and experienced so much growth and literal magic and miracles and beautiful stuff. And I just been living life, man. And fulfilling my purpose and teaching and sharing this information, Just one day I will join you. Why not now? What's stopping you? Listen, it's not all about money. If you truly want to grow, if you truly want to evolve and literally invest in yourself, day one is better than one day. And you just start, and there's nothing like when you're practicing. Everything is practice. You understand the principles, like even meditation. People think like, I gotta set apart, 30 minutes a day or an hour a day to meditate, and they make it this huge burden. You meditate as you talking to somebody. You meditate as you're driving. You pay attention. You focus your mind. You do the practices as you go through your everyday life. And you literally want to develop the mindset of a practitioner, because everything is practice. Everything that you go through is literally you can just be aware, and it's beautiful, So I'm talking about your trips. However, I need to get back on Spaces by Wix. Oh yeah, I mean even then, if you say you're going to go. But once again, you have to take ownership of that. Like if you haven't made up your mind, I'm going. You may not even see how. You might not even have the funds for it right here and now. But if you make it up in your mind, I am going. I don't know how. Once again, we're in this time right now where miracles can happen. Literally, this new moon. In Leo, the light of creation is there. It's a great time to manifest miracles, and whatever you pay attention to, and whatever you hold the space for. You create that vessel. You create that form in which to bring it into fruition. It happens. And this is how you manifest things. You may not know the pathway to get there, but you know where you're at. You know where you want to be, and you let God show you the way. You let your subconscious guide the way. You release your resistance to it, and you allow that pathway to develop. And it will. You just got to look for it. Align yourself. Believe that you're going to get there. Know for a fact that no matter what, this is where I'm going. And you get there. So the moment you decide, yep, I'm going to Sri Lanka. Watch, like you don't even know where the money gonna come from. Somebody close to you. Oh, here you go. I was just thinking about you. I came into some money. Here you go, a couple extra grand or whatever. Oh, look, this is exactly the amount I need to go. That's how it happens. But you just have to make the choice. You have to make the choice. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. And this applies to everything in life. I'm gonna leave y'all with this because I'll talk for another 2 hours. This applies to everything. You have to make the conscious effort to go in that direction. And some things you're building energy. It's not like from step one, you're just going to focus your mind and this thing is going to happen. Sometimes it will. Sometimes you'll have very, very powerful, miracles and synchronicity and things begin to happen like that. Other things you literally have to build, and you may not be ready to experience that miracle, but it's already in manifestation. You may be going through the lessons and experiences that you need to be able to facilitate that prayer, that blessing, that miracle that you've been working on. And a lot of people stop themselves because they want it now. You're not ready for it now. You may need to go through the steps to get there, but you so caught up in I need it now instead of am I the person who is a perfect vessel for that? Have I been through the lessons and the awareness in order for me to facilitate that? Your whole life is that. The moment you make a decision, this is where I'm going, your thoughts, feelings, and actions begin to go in that direction. And you're releasing resistance through your experience. Life is your school. Life is your school. This is how God teaches you through your thoughts, feelings, actions, interactions with other people, places, things, information. This is your school. You must treat it as that. This is why even when I say within the course that life is your practice, everything is practice. Everything. And when you begin to see it as that, it becomes this fun, magical, mystical, profound, experience. And you start going through the levels. And you begin to understand the levels and where you're at in the spiritual hierarchy and begin to grow and evolve, and you begin to experience those miracles. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And I wouldn't trade anything in the world for it. And I would never let anybody take it from me. And this is why I've made it my purpose to be able to give that to you. And if it resonates, it resonates, And once again, the most important thing, in my life is my personal development. And, I think that everybody should invest, their time and energy to that in some way, some shape, some form. And you don't have to change yourself overnight. It's incremental. You make incremental changes, and then the moment you say, I'm going to go in this direction, you start going there. And once again, those miracles you've been praying for, they may already be coming into fruition. You're just going through the lessons so you can facilitate those, so you can be that vessel for it. So if you want to come to Sri Lanka, or wherever, Sedona, whatever it is, you may not even see how. Like right now, people have this idea. First off, this Sri Lanka trip is in May. So you have almost a year, right? And some people say, well, I have this job. Okay. Is that your only means? Is this like a career? Is this something that can you not replace that? Do you not think it's something better out there for you? Because any job that you're at, especially if you've been there for like years, you gain a bunch of skill or whatever, I guarantee you right now, you can find that same job that pays you a lot more in the future. And, if you can't get a week off or whatever to do that, then you might need to, switch and grow and evolve, because everything that we go through in life is just like that. Some people, I grew up working in warehouses and stuff, and doing my own businesses and stuff in northern Indiana. And I will go to like a warehouse, and I'll be there for a month, and I'm getting paid just as much, or not, if not more, than somebody that's been there for 34 years. And they're still there at this place that clearly they don't care about you. If I come in and I'm doing this job, I've been here for 3 weeks and I'm getting paid $1 less than you. But people are afraid to evolve and grow and to change and to set up their boundaries. Or, we're used to settling for what we're used to, instead of just making slight changes in our personality, slight changes in our actions, slight changes in our belief structures, right? And our habits. And once again, you don't have to change the world just overnight, but you start making small incremental changes. You do it now, in a week you'll be somewhere different. In a month you'll be somewhere different. In a year you'll be in a completely different reality. But people like familiarity. We like for things to be familiar, and that comfort stops us from breaking our bridges and stepping outside, so we can take advantage of the skills and knowledge that we gain through our evolution, so we can experience the next level of that evolution. Don't be that person that's been in the same warehouse for 40 years and you got to beg somebody for two weeks to get off. Because whatever skills you have there and they're paying you that much, if you've developed that long, even if for a couple of years, you can take that somewhere else. Oh, you got this many years? Here you go. Happy. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to see your value. You have to see your evolution and continue to grow and evolve beyond whatever current level you're at, so you can continue to allow those blessings in all parts of you to grow and evolve. And you can grow and evolve in whichever way you please, but please do it in a way that's going to benefit you and bring you, fulfillment. And I'm leaving you with that. So, as always, if you guys, are interested, check out the link in the bio. Sign up for the Discord. That link is in there or whatever. I would love to have you as a part of this community. Would love to see you in one of our weekly group Zoom meetings. If you sign up for the course, if you want to come to Sri Lanka or Sedona, I think next time I go live, I'll share some of the footage and stuff from there. I think I'll have clips on my page and stuff too. It's absolutely beautiful. It's life-changing. The courses are included with the in-person retreats, and the in-person way, that's the quickest way you can grow and evolve, because it's a direct transmission of light and energy and even attunements, and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. There's lots of powerful side effects that come with training yourself in hermetics and Kabbalah and psychic development. High level healing skill where you can literally perform miracles. It's beautiful. But the most important thing is that you have a higher quality of life, and you can give that to other people as well. So, like I said, you can book a one-on-one quantum healing session. If you have any questions, you want to set up a payment plan or anything like that, let me know. This is what I'm here for. I hope you all have a very, very blessed and beautiful rest of your evening, and I will see you guys later, okay? You guys have a wonderful night.